All languages perform various functions, which are mostly related to communication. Not everyone who learns a second language is interested in knowing a language for communicating with native speakers. People might have different designs. They may learn a language to get a job, especially a prestigious language like English. However, communication still remains the main function of a language. Therefore, for an ordinary learner, it is important to know various important communicative or interactional functions of a language. Let's have a quick look on them. Jakobson, who's a renowned linguist, he talks about various functions of a language. He starts with the referential function. According to Jakobson, the referential function implies describing things, what we see around, how to describe it. That is an important function of a language. Many people fail to do that, especially in a target language. This includes all cans and do's which we usually talk about in our own language and we might need to master in the target language as well. Overall, this includes description of a place, a state, or situation in a certain environment. The next is the emotive function. This is an important function as it is related to the expression of human feelings, thoughts, and ideas. If we look at our daily communication, do we think that all the time we only state things, facts, and realities? Don't we add a bit extra to it, which is emotional in nature? Most of us would say yes, we do that. This emotive function relates to that extra bit, which involves our emotional ideas or views about a certain thing. We express our emotions through different mediums of communication. Such expressions, interjections, reflect our emotional state. This is an important social aspect, as I said earlier, and for a second language learner, it may be a very important and crucial area to learn. A good help could be sought from watching movies, dramas, or listening to native speakers. In this way, you could learn the emotive content of a target language. Conative function means commanding. This is related to a kind of imperative function of a language. We all like to talk about in this way. We all like to give commands and orders to others. Go on, open it. Do not touch it, it's dangerous. All these functions are very important to our daily use of language. So, makes a healthy part of our communication. The poetic function, which is next, is about choosing right words for your communication. It's poetic because it's related to a poet's choice of choosing precise words for expressing his thoughts and feelings. This function involves the appreciation of the literary and cultural traditions of a language, especially a target language, and is very important to engage yourself in higher levels of communication, for example, academic or intellectual discourse. Phatic function is commonly known as small talk. Engaging somebody in a small talk, probably on the way, or while waiting for a train on a platform, or while walking through a bazaar or market, you might would like to engage somebody in a small talk. For this kind of function, you need to have some quick expressions like how are you, how have you been. These are the elements of sociability which come into your communication when you follow this function. And it involves, as I said earlier, polite expressions like have a nice day, how have you been, etc. The metalingual function is of a critical nature. It involves analyzing a language while using a language. how well a language is performing its functions. This is very critical, and it becomes crucial when you are communicating in a second language or target language, because it's very difficult to analyze a language when you are using a target language. There are some other important functions of a language which come to us through some recent studies on research on language and discourse. Language is seen as a power to convince others through arguments. Language is also a marker of socio-political identity, and it's a very effective way for identity and impression management in the contemporary international society. Language is also seen as a means of controlling through arguments or controlling by convincing others. This is an important tool in the hands of political leaders. Language as a performative focuses on the pragmatic aspects of language learning, and a learner of a second language must be familiar with these aspects of a language in order to get a mastery over a second language.